The full life theory. That's what I'm talking about today. A theory. At this point in my journey, I don't consider it a theory anymore. I consider it a reality. Yet, we can't get to that until we understand. That's why it's a theory. Because it's a theory until we understand this. At that point, it becomes reality. Many times when we hear suggestions or when people present to us how to do things or what would solve our problems or just listen to this or just read this and then execute. And most of us at first feel a jolt of excitement that we got this, we can do this. This is going to be really good. But then we start trying and trying and trying. And it always seems like something gets in our way. Something stops us, whether it's overt or if it's actually mental. Yet both of those are real. Yet each and every one of us is made to feel that the mental ones aren't real. And they are the ones that actually control our life. Good morning. So, a theory, when it's presented to us, most of us brush it off. We're like, yeah, right. I've heard way too many of those. People are always telling me that this is the answer. This is the solution. This will make me believe. This will let me get what I'm trying to achieve. I'm telling you guys, this would, but only if you understand it. If you consume this and you respect it, you can appreciate it, but you don't really try to break it down and deconstruct and decipher what I'm saying and the underlying and how I got to this and all these stuff, well, then the theory just remains a theory. And then it doesn't really have the benefit for any of us. And that's okay. Do you guys understand? That's fine. But why wouldn't we want to achieve more? And now, what is more? I'm not saying what ends up happening to all of us, which is that we get baited down a path of excess whenever we start doing something that we're making progress on, and all of a sudden we're doing well, and we're getting reinforced that we're doing well, whether it's just ourselves or external. Usually it's the external one. But all of a sudden we're like, wait a minute, I feel like doing more. Like thoughts populate and ideas populate, we get excited and all this stuff, and then we do more. And We just keep going and keep going and keep going. But all of a sudden, everything that we do starts getting deviated. And then before we know it, we don't achieve what we set out to do. We forgot. And it's not an accident. So just like how that happens for anything that we start doing well in, I'm saying the same thing happens when we're trying to achieve what I believe every single human is trying to achieve, and their connection with everything else in this world around them, every living entity in their reality, is that we're all seeking to achieve a full life. What does that mean? It's easy to say those terms. Well, I want to have a full life. But if I just leave it at that and don't explain it to all of you, well, you're not going to really get anything out of this. So, today, I'm going to slow down even more. Because this topic is, it's a topic that most of us want to talk about, that most of us want to figure out, that most of us want to solve and understand. Yet, there's so many things that make us feel like we can't. So we just never get to. So I encourage all of you to grab some water, grab some food that you enjoy from your childhood that teleports you to a happy time period. For myself, like when I was in Germany, or when I was with my mom and dad, and they believed and they were healed because they were actually living a full life again. Despite the circumstances that have happened to them, to their environment, and to the people or the things that matter to them. Because I think if all of you really take a step back and reflect on every single thing around us, is that you'll notice that the majority of things aren't living a full life anymore. And it's not an accident. That's not today's topic. We're not going to talk about how it happens in depth, but we've talked about that in all my other videos and streams. But I want people to understand that it's not an accident. We are made to not be able to have a full life. It's something that creeps up on you. For most. If you defeat the initial things that are created to stop us from achieving our full life, and we'll get into what full life is here in a moment, well then, we start doing fewer things. We don't explore anymore. We actually just stop learning. We stop moving forward. We stop trying. We don't choose more difficult paths. We only care about the end. We can't appreciate the journey. We can't explore how something would be without the optimal things. Because that's all that matters to us now. Because our full life was prevented. What I'm trying to get all of you to realize is that we all beat ourselves up. Every single one of us. Every single one of us. That we aren't living our full life. That other people have it better. Not everyone, right? Because we start comparing. But then we look at the people like, oh yeah, they obviously don't have it better. And oh, these people obviously do. So we use the people that we think are beneath us to boost ourselves up. And we try to avoid the people that we think are above us because they make us feel worse. Unless we can ride their coattails and try to boost ourselves up to experience more of what we want in our life. I'm saying that that's intentional. And what I'm trying to get everyone to realize is that it's what every single living thing, not just humans, even animals and creatures are dealing with. Every single thing. Because if you look around you, you're like, why did you guys stop exploring? I challenge all of you to, if you still go outside and believe in exploring the world, to just go to towns and communities that you haven't really been to before. Then just do a check-in on your family and your neighbors. You don't actually have to say hello to them, but just kind of wander and look from afar. And what I'm trying to get you all to realize is that if you keep returning to those areas, and if you then do start getting to know people, you're going to realize that the majority are now set. What does that mean? It means that they have established in their mind what they can do, and there's nothing else that can happen now. This is it. They've achieved it. They reached the peak, and there's no deviation anymore. They can't modify. They have to do things a certain way, either because things got taken from them, either because bad happened, either because people would say something so they care what people think, either because they are missing a resource that they believe prevents them from having that. Do we see, like, all these things are real? So what ends up happening is that they either stop doing entirely new, they stop exploring, and they have a set few things that they believe is their bubble, their reality. There's nothing else beyond it. They can't even see that there could be more. And what I'm trying to get all of you to realize is each and every one of us beats ourselves up thinking that it's us. We're like, why do these other people have it figured out? Why are they thriving? Why are they doing so well? And what I'm trying to get all of you to realize is that until you understand the full life theory and you're fully healed, that whatever you show externally to the world is a mask, isn't real. I'm not saying that it's you might actually feel comfortable in being who you are and showcasing that to the world. That's not what I'm saying. Because see, that they're making it lost there. What I'm trying to get you all to realize is that the way people present themselves to have what their situation is. I'm not saying who they are. That's a different thing. That's conditioning and programming. We're not going to get into that today. What I'm saying is how they present themselves for who they are, their situation. None of that is real. I'm sorry if that offends anyone who's listening, but it's the truth. Why? I'm saying it because every single person is going through this. So If you got offended to that, that's okay. It just means that there's something there that they installed in you to react that way. And that's what we're going to break down as we understand the full life theory. But what I'm trying to get you all to realize is that there's no reason for you to be offended when I tell that to you, that what you're presenting to the external world isn't real. You guys get it that even I try to tell some of the things that my situation, but because I shower and brush my hair and wear some of my old clothes that I had from my past when I was still exploiting in sales and made a lot of money before everything was taken from me, people see this and they think that I'm doing better than I am. And I'm saying, you see, like, but I don't talk about it because I don't want to start a path, a personal path or a path of negativity. But at the same time, it makes people think that my reality is better than it is. And that's fine. Do we get it? I'm not even trying to do that. But when they see me do this, they think that I'm doing well. They think that I'm happy. They think that I'm in a good spot. They think that I'm thriving. They think that, well, I have it figured out. And what I'm trying to tell you guys is, I do. But my reality isn't amazing. On the contrary, it's horrific. Yet, I'm saying I have a full life now. Despite not having anything. Despite having everything taken from me. Despite losing everything that mattered to me. Without a say in the matter. You guys get it. That means that I'm not even trying to present myself the opposite way. That I'm like trying to present that I'm better than I am. Or like, you guys get it? And then still other people are going to see that just because I seem like I'm doing well when I'm doing this activity. And it's because I am when I'm doing all the things that give me a full life. If I ever stop doing all of them, I start struggling because my reality is horrific. I'm always under attack. I'm always experiencing more bad and more bad and more bad. And all of us are to a certain extent. It escalates as we keep climbing and learning more. But what I'm saying, you guys, is if you have a full life, regardless of what your circumstances and your reality is, then you will be thriving regardless. And that's the paradox, because all of us, right, we compare it to other people thinking that, well, they have it better. I'm saying they don't. We all have the same situation. We all got things taken from us. We all suffered losses. We all feel like we can't do all the things that we want to do or achieve. So we have to settle. We have to just accept our situation. And then we just are constantly getting attacked and reminded and presented bad things in our head that make us just feel like we can't. So then we stop doing things because, well, they get corrupted, they get poisoned, and we just move them to the side because, well, if we do them, they just remind us of what we lost, of the bad things that we experienced. So you're like, you know what, we're just going to do things that temporarily keep our mental world free from everything. Whatever those things are, those are the things that I'm going to gravitate toward. And you guys know what yours are. But I'm saying you do that because it's not escapism. It's actually just protection. You're protecting yourself from the mental reminders that can get presented that make you remember that you don't have a full life yet. You don't have everything you want. So we do those things. I want you all to realize that we're all experiencing the same reality. It's just with a different coat of paint. And once you all can understand that, then you guys can relax. Because then we realize that, wait a minute, every single person is dealing with this. Because it's unique to their circumstances. Do we understand? For myself, I might think that I've achieved a full life if I get to eat cheese with sauce, queso con salsa, with bread, and coffee, and have water. I'm saying it's part of it. But imagine if that was enough for me. Yet now what if I was missing salsa, missing cheese, missing bread, missing coffee, missing water? Well, now I don't have a full life anymore. Because those are things that are my full life. If I have all those things, I'm doing all those things, then I'm thriving. If I don't, then if the bad gets presented, either reminds me I don't have those things, or just bad gets presented of when bad things happen to me through reminders. It doesn't even matter if bad things occur. That's enough. Reminders are sufficient. When that happens, I'm telling all of you, we start going down paths. And all of a sudden, we don't think we have a full life, that we're thriving. We always look in the distance. What are we missing? What are we missing? What are we missing? And it's not an accident. But you guys see what I'm trying to get you to realize is that there's like a beautiful Latina Italian girl that I think would be my dream girl, but I'm open to everything now. And you know, on paper she's doing well. Yet is she? She might think that she's missing 10 things. So she's not actually thriving. She appears to be, based on what the world tells us is thriving: money, looks, external, fame. Yet, is she? Do we understand? Yet, I don't have any of those things, and I've only experienced bad recently. And yet, I'm saying that I've now figured out a way to thrive despite that. And I'm not saying what I present externally. I'm saying when I'm not presenting anything externally. It's easy to appear that you're thriving externally. It's easy. It's easy. It's not easy to be actually thriving internally within your own home when it's just you. I'm saying each and every one of us, no matter who we are, no matter what our circumstances are, is dealing with an equivalent of this. Because it's created for us. What we're trying, what got prevented, what got taken, what got corrupted or poisoned, and then we get baited to go down the wrong paths. So then we never feel like we are fully thriving. And if we ever temporarily do, you best bet they attached it to something externally that can get us to keep going on a climb Think money, fame, adoration, praise, which means that at any point, if we ever deviate, all right, let's go the other way now. So that's enough of that part. What I didn't think I was going to talk about that, but as I started, I realized I'm like, wait a minute. I think it's important to ground people a little bit, because I want you all to realize is that we're all going through this. So many times when we talk about these things, people are like, well, yeah, it's easy for you to say, or, oh, well, those other people don't understand, but I'm going through this. I'm saying we all are going through this. You want to know how I know? Because once I figured this out, once I understood this theory, and I started executing it, what I'm trying to get you all to realize is that they escalate. Their levels of, it's like a chess match begins, and they try to do things to get you to stop doing things again, and they try to get you to get consumed by things again, and they try to poison things and corrupt things and cause problems again, and so I'm saying the moment you achieve it, they're spending every second, the things that control our realities that operate with us, to try to prevent it and take it away again. And this leads me to where I wanted to go. This is perfect. Which means that there's no way that anyone is actually thriving until they learn all this and understand all this. Because the moment they are, you best bet they start creating new things that they can make sure that they put it out of reach. So they have a carrot on a stick, and then they can easily present bad again. I'm telling you guys, that's how I know everyone's going through it without even knowing any of you. Because the moment you figure it out and you are thriving despite having nothing, think of it like you're all alone on an island or on a desert. Just you by yourself. And yet you're happier than you've ever been, or you're thriving and you're doing better than you've ever worked. If someone saw you, they're like, wow, you must be doing amazing. Oh, do you have like a hot girlfriend and you have like pets and a lot of money and kids and like an organization, and you travel the world, and you sigh and you look at them and you say, yeah, I do. They're like, I knew it. You seem like you're doing so well. I'm like, yeah. So, how are you? So now that you all understand that this happens to all of us, so what is a full life? But before we get into that, balance. I want to just touch upon it now, just so it's in my recency, because they're making me forget it. So I'm doing this to try to protect myself right now, just so I can communicate the things that I want. What's the actual answer? Once we figure out how to thrive and how to have a full life, despite being all alone in a desert or in the middle of the ocean by ourselves, how can we be thriving? Maybe we befriended the sharks and the fish. And we went under the sea and met two hot sisters. Well, then we're thriving. But what if the next day a huge storm arrives? We see the clouds forming, and then thunder starts striking the water, and we're like, oh my gosh, I need to like get to land. Because, well, I don't want to get electrocuted. And we get to an island, and we find a cave, and we set up a bonfire, and find some flint, and we start a fire, and we're warming our hands, because it got really cold, and our hands are even getting a little purple, and we're just all by ourselves. And yesterday we were thriving. we were doing all the things that mattered to us. Right? We got to explore. We were in the ocean by ourselves, but we actually went under the water, and we got to hang out with animals, the sharks, the fish. We befriended them. They showed us their world. We got to explore with them, and then they led us to this underwater bubble settlement, and that's where we found these two really beautiful sisters, and we got to talk to them, and we were planning actually maybe to go on adventures with them and see who knows what could happen. But we really connected with them, and we got to learn about the people, and we got to eat good food, and we listened to their music, and there's so much to learn. Like their buildings were like built out of coral reef, and they cook with seaweed, and I don't know, like there was so much to learn about this place, and we were just happy. We were thriving despite us being lost in the middle of the ocean, and we thought it was over for us. So in those moments, right, we were doing all the things that mattered to us. They even gave us with their version of coffee. They called it the underwater natto or something like that, right, instead of Americano. And it was great. You see, like, so all the things that are positives. They even had like these different like strategy board games that they played. Like they used like turtles like as chess pieces that they moved around, and it was just so cool to see all the things that this culture and the city had. And then they held a festival that night, and there was singing, there was dancing. Actually, one of the hot sisters was a whistler, and she taught me how to whistle her way, because I forgot I used to be a good whistler. So when that happened, we were in a different world, because we had all our positives that we need to experience a full life. Oh, and I forgot about this, but one of the sisters had a pet otter, and I got to meet the pet, the otter, and they like would climb up on my shoulder, and they would do like a little dance, and it was awesome. So, girl, singing, dancing, like strategy board games, learning new, nature, water, pets, cooking food with them, a type of coffee. In that moment, guys, when we went to sleep that night, we imagined possibility. We were like, I can't wait to spend another day with the hot sisters. But really, I don't need anything with them to happen, but I just really enjoy spending time with them. But who knows, maybe something could happen. But either way, this is so cool. For the first time ever, you don't even think about everything you lost, how you ended up in the middle of the ocean. The dark clouds seem so far away. And I'm saying that your reality hasn't changed yet. That was just a temporary thing. Nothing actually happened. But on that day, despite you being lost in the ocean and not knowing what to do, you lived a full life. what you considered a full life. And when that happens, we're thriving. When that happens, we're doing well. When that happens, we're protected. Like, people would walk by and like, someone tried to like send a jab at us while we were just cooking with one of the sisters and like petting the otter and playing the turtle chess game. And when they do the jab at you, you're just like, oh, hey, did you hear the song that she knows how to whistle? It's so good. And they're like, what? We are attacking you. I'm like, no, it's can we whistle it? And you guys see, like, the bad things don't even matter anymore. It doesn't mean that we are like, oh, this person's trying to attack us, that we just are like, hey, can you keep attacking me? But it happens, and then we're just like, it's okay. And because we're surrounded by our full life, the things that make us thrive. So when we went to bed, we barely had any bad reminders, if at all. And it was like one presented, and you're like, it doesn't matter. I can't wait to see what else the hot sisters teach me tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. Well, then everything's good. There are no problems. Yet, we lost everything. That's how we ended up in the middle of the ocean. We lost everything. We got stranded. We're by ourselves. Our old life is gone. Yet, for a day, everything seemed better. We actually were like, maybe I'll stay here. Maybe I can start rebuilding in this location. Maybe the tide has finally turned. But then the next day happens. And one of the sisters asks you, hey, can you go with, I don't know, one of my friends and gather some more corals for us, or like shells or something like that, because I want to make you a bracelet. And you're like, whoa, she's making a bracelet. Things are getting serious. This is awesome. So you're like, yeah, of course. And you go with this, like, I guess it's her father. And you're like, oh, things are getting really serious. And he's kind of like feeling you out, and he's asking you questions like, who are you? What's going on? But things are good. He wanted to know how you ended up there. How you got there? Who are you? Like, what's your story? How did you find us in this underwater settlement? But while that was happening, he warns us that when we're collecting the shells and the corals, that sometimes there's like some jellyfish or something that appear. So he's gonna keep them far away, and we'll gather them. So when that happens, though, he's like, also, we need to hurry. There's a storm brewing. And you see that, but you don't really pay attention to it. And you start gathering the shells and the corals, and you see the dad in the distance keeping the jellyfish away. But then all of a sudden, the storm hits, and the current just rushes in like a whirlpool and takes you away. And you're like, no! And you see the dad gets taken back to where like the city is, but you get taken further away. And then now you're above the water, and you see the lightning happen, and you see the island in the distance, and now you swim there because you're worried. So now we're back to where we started the bonfire. We're warming up our hands, but we're all alone in a cave. So, in this circumstance now we're like, well, I hope the sisters are okay. You're holding the shells and the corals that you gathered, and now they're a sad reminder, because you're like, will I ever see that sister again? I hope they're okay. I hope the storm didn't destroy them. Just when things seemed like they were turning around. Well, maybe when the storm dies down, we'll go search. All of a sudden, storm intensity increases, so you're just like, well, I guess I'm just gonna wait here. And you start whistling a few of the songs that you whistled with the girl. And it makes you feel a little better, but every time you do so, you get a mental reminder that's like, you lost your chance with her. You're never gonna find them again. So now you're like, I'm gonna put the shells underneath some leaves or some sand. I don't wanna look at them right now. And I don't feel like whistling anymore. Yeah, I'm not gonna whistle anymore. The fire starts going out. You're like, oh no, quick. Gotta throw more sticks on it and twigs and stuff like that. Oh man, can't let it die out. The storm isn't stopping. All of a sudden, we are sitting there, and now we remember what our reality actually is. We're all alone. We're isolated. We lost everything. We don't have a chance to change our reality. We got stranded in the middle of the ocean because everything was taken from us, and we lost the things that we cared about. We had a girl, we had a kid, we had pets, we had a life. But let's just say we were like on a plane, it got shut down, and it crashed, and they all perished, and we survived, but we were stranded in the middle of the ocean. Think of something like that, guys. An equivalent. So now we remember that. We're like, oh man. And before we found that underwater settlement, we had already been searching for days, trying to figure out how to survive. We were on our last legs, and that's when the positive happened. Right at the end. And then we got hope again. We believed again. But now we feel guilt. We feel regret. We're like, why was I even talking to those sisters? How could I get over my girl so quickly after the loss? Seeing all the kids there, dancing in a festival. I'll never have another kid again. The pet otter. I'll never have a pet again either. I can't believe they were singing. What do they have to celebrate? Loss? Storms destroying things? Taking people's lives? This world is horrible. And we even say that out loud. we're not in our mental world anymore. We actually say that out loud. This world is horrible. And then when we say that, all of a sudden we start getting reminded of more things. All of a sudden, like a fight that we had with our girl. When our kid told us that we care too much about work instead of prioritizing them. And so forth and so forth. And when we're like, oh, I could really use some coffee right now. Oh, wait. I wish I could have some bread and queso con salsa like I used to. Oh, wait. I'm stranded on an island by myself. The fire is about to go out. The storm is only getting more powerful. I can't believe I even thought that anything good could happen. There is no good that can happen. One tear rolls down my eye. And it lands in the fire, and the fire goes out. Great! Now I'm gonna be freezing too. Maybe this is finally the end. Maybe I can finally be put out of my misery. Alright, let's just walk the island. Let's see what we can do. And a lightning bolt hits a tree, and the tree lights on fire. And we yell at the sky, like, we hate you too! But a branch falls down, and it's already lit, because the tree was on fire. And the rest of the fire goes out. And, well, we're like, well, at least we have something to keep us warm again. We distract ourselves by building a little shelter. But do you guys see that that story is an example of the full life theory? When we are doing all the things that are us, that we believe in. Not that make us believe, but that we believe in. Because if we do the things that only make us believe, then we're vulnerable. Like I said, if it's something external. The things that make us who we are, right? So that means it has nothing to do with money, fame, adoration, praise, anything like that. It's the things that make us the things that make us who we are without an outcome. The outcome is irrelevant. So you see, like in that story, spending time with the girl was incredible. But the outcome, oh, is she going to date me? Didn't matter. Getting to hang out with the pet otter. The outcome didn't matter. Oh, this is my pet. Do you guys understand? Doing the things that make us who we are, that we believe in, not that make us believe. The outcome is irrelevant. The outcome is irrelevant. All of us get baited to walk down a path, to believe that what makes us have a full life, that makes us thrive, that makes us happy, is the outcome. And I'm saying that the outcome reinforces, but the outcome is not needed. The outcome reinforces. The outcome reinforces. Think of it as like that underwater settlement has a bubble, and it's the bubble has layers of reinforcement and protections. That's why the storm doesn't get through, because they're so reinforced. But that's what the outcome does. It just adds an extra layer to the shield, to the bubble. That's all it is. And yet all of us view the world incorrectly. We view the outcome as the thing that creates the shield. We view the outcome as the thing that creates the shield. And I'm saying the outcome is the thing that reinforces it, that polishes it, that makes it just be a little better. A little better. So that when bad does present, when a storm does arrive, that we can sing through that storm no matter what. Because we're like, whoa, our shield, our bubble is getting attacked viciously. But we're going to hang in there because you know what? We do have the outcome now. But how did we get to the outcome? Because we already were living a full life. We already were thriving despite not having the outcome. That is the key. Yet isn't that the most difficult thing of all? Because, well, you're telling me to have a full life, to thrive, to be happy, to be satisfied, to be all these things. I already need to be doing all the things that I believe would make me be that. So for anyone who's like plays a video game or watches a movie or something like that, it's like, so you tell me I need to know the ending to understand the beginning? Or I'm like, yeah. So that means that if I play the beginning, I'm never going to understand anything. Correct. You have to get through it. And then at the end, you're going to understand. Nah. Think of it like that, guys. It's just, you have to already be able to do the end without having the end. It's actually really complex because what ends up happening to all of us is we get baited to believe that the outcome is what determines. And that's the problem. Well, I'll have a full life. I'll be thriving when I have X, when I have Y, when I have Mobius Z. And it's not the way. Because that means that they can just create a storm that creates a current that pulls us away from where we were going. And then we still see it in the distance. We remember it in the distance. But now we can't get that anymore. Or what if in that story of the island, what if we return? What if the next day the storm subsides and we decide to swim and swim and swim and we're like, oh, there it is, the place, and we go there again. And we arrive and we're like, hey, sister, hot sister, I brought you the corals, the shells. And she looks at us and she's like, don't you talk to me. And I'm like, what? You were so excited. You believed. You had hope. You cared. Her father didn't make it. Her father didn't return. You thought he made it back to the city, the settlement. But he actually perished. And now she blames us, or you in the story, for the loss. Because you went with her father to gather the stuff for the bracelet. So now the corals, the shells, the bracelet is now a negative reminder for her of her dad perished because of you. You didn't protect her dad. That's not true. Do you guys get it? But that's what happened because of the storm. Because remember, we attached it now to the outcome. Like, well, I want to get the bracelet with the girl and continue like talking to her, so that I can possibly date her, so that we can have a family and a kid, and I can have take over her pet otter with her, and we can raise all that together and cook together and do the festivals and all these stuff. And I'm saying, guys, now we would be devastated. Because, well, that's what we wanted. And you see how they took it away. Because we attached our full life. We attached our thriving to an outcome. We attached to an outcome. So if you are attaching anything to an outcome, that's when you're going to be happy. That's when you're going to be able to do. That's when you're going to be able to have this. That's when you're going to be thriving. That's when you have a full life. That means that at any point, they want you not to be that, which is all of us, because they're always trying to attach things to an outcome, that they just create a storm. And you guys see, it's as simple as a misunderstanding. You maybe tried to protect her dad, but you couldn't. Could even be that a jellyfish stung him, and that's it. And it doesn't matter what the circumstances are, but if then when that happens and the hot sister thinks that you were the reason, then it's over. Then you see that storyline is now over. So when you were on the island, you felt despair. You thought everything was bad. And then the storm actually subsided. You survived the storm because the branch lit on fire. And then you actually found the settlement again, which you didn't think you were going to. So then you believed. And now the outcome, right? The outcome, found the settlement. Outcome, I'm going to be able to see the girl. I'm going to be able to give her the bracelet. I'm going to be able to do all this stuff. And then, boom. Well, now, right after that, someone walks by, or maybe her other sister walks by, and she says to you, hey, I think it'd be better if you leave. Everything was better before you showed up. And you can just tell the entire settlement is in despair. They suffered a major loss. And there's a darkness cloud now over that settlement. They're not hosting festivals anymore. They're not singing. They're not dancing. They're not cooking. They're not playing the turtle chess game. They're not thriving anymore. Because, well, for them, they needed all those positives to have that. So now they're not living a full life anymore. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to show you? Now they're not living a full life anymore because a bad happens. And then it serves as reminders for us of what we lost, or we just don't feel like it to do those things anymore. And either they poison them, they corrupt them, or they just make us care now about an outcome. So then we just don't do them anymore. So then now the settlement is just not the same anymore. And you're actually not really welcome anymore. And yet 3 days ago, they worshipped you. They thought you were awesome. You're the foreigner, the stranger, the one that they believed in. Even the otter shows up and like whips you with their tail, and you're like, whoa. You're like, wow, I really am not welcome here anymore. So you leave. You swim back to the island where you were at, and you realize that things are pretty bad. But you remember when the fire went out and the tree got lit on fire from a lightning bolt, but a branch fell and created a new fire for you. And you're like, wait a minute. In that moment, that was enough to get me to keep going. What happened to me is the same thing that happened to the underwater settlement, to the sisters. They destroyed the things that they believed in. And then they stopped living a full life. Maybe they never were, but some of them were. So all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute. When I was with my girl and my kid and my pet, when we were on the plane, and when everything right before this, we crashed and everything fell, we were doing really well before that. That's why we went on this trip, that we were going to explore these islands. What were we doing? And I'm like, wait, we were living a full life. I was drinking coffee. I was cooking food that I enjoy. I was teaching her my traditions, my Mexican and German traditions. I was singing. I was dancing with her and my kid. I got to spend time with lots of pets every single day. I got to teach them things. Oh, I got to teach things to my pets, to my kids, to her. I got to play video games. Some kind of, really it's just a strategy game, something where I can create my own experiences and challenges and limits. I got to heal. I would heal my girl, my pets, my kid, my family. I was teaching knowledge. I was guiding by parenting and by explaining things to try to make the world better. I didn't care about an outcome. I didn't need money. I would whistle a lot. I would joke around. I would tell stories. Wait a minute. Before the plane crashed, I was living a full life. We would travel, we'd explore. Doesn't mean that there couldn't be things that could be better, but I was living a full life, despite what the circumstances were. We were like, because all of a sudden when we were thinking about this, we were on the island with the branch that somehow didn't end up burning. It still was there. The same branch that fell and lit on fire. It's still there. But we're sitting there in the sand, our toes wiggling in the sand with the tide reaching our feet. And we're thinking about all this, and all of a sudden we remember, like, but we did have some problems. I did have some problems with my girl, my kid, my pets, my family. But wait, we were okay. We were doing really well. What was it? I'm like, oh, he didn't care about the outcome anymore. That didn't matter to us anymore. What mattered was each other. What mattered was living every day a full life. The full life theory. We were doing it and we didn't even realize. Because we stopped caring about the external. Maybe it wasn't by choice, but we got to that. We were learning new things. We were figuring things out. There was a lot of complexity and challenge. Raising our kid and 4 pets without any assistance, without a village, without an underwater settlement to help you. It's not easy. There's a lot to figure out. And if you don't look up the answers, because you know that hey, that's just one way. We should do things our way. Well, there's a lot to figure out. And then you have to guide your girl through her own challenges too. So you remember that, and you're like, wait a minute, I thought I was thriving. Like, I had it figured out. Why did those thoughts populate right now that made me think that we were having problems? No, it's okay. So wait. That's what was happening. That's what happened in that underwater settlement. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. When I got there, they were all living a full, well, not all, but the majority of the settlement, the village, is living a full life. Doesn't mean that they can't do more. Doesn't mean that everyone figured out, but enough of the players knew how to, that it carried the settlement as a whole. So the others who might not be there yet, that just don't see how they can live a full life, they only see the things in the distance. They're like, well, I don't have this, I don't have this, this is bad, these problems happen, things will only improve if this outcome occurs. And they're like sitting on a bench or just seeing the festival in the distance, everyone like dancing and singing. They're like, yeah, no. It's because they had the plane crash event that made them lose faith. So then they're always reminded of it. So then they see that and they're like, yeah, it's okay, I guess. Like when the festival's happening, they're temporarily okay. Because it's just something, it's an external. All right, think for you guys, think like money, praise, adoration, likes. You're temporarily okay. But then the moment the festival's over, they never leave their home. And they're moping about. And it's because they're like, I can't thrive. I don't have my full life. Because they attached that the only way they can is through an outcome. So now they make sure that outcome can never happen. Which means they will never be able to thrive or live a full life again. They can temporarily get there through something external that gives them temporary belief, the festival, money, a good date with a beautiful girl. But the moment that's over, then they're back to reality. And when they're back to reality, they're like, well, I don't have this outcome. Whatever it is, whatever they created in us, usually it's based on something that they took from us or that they destroyed in us. And when we're sitting on that, by that branch on that island, we're like, wait a minute, that's what they did to the sister. They destroyed her dad when he went collecting shells and coral with me. And they were the organizers of the festival. So now that the sisters are destroyed, the village doesn't have that anymore. So now that we're on this island, we're like, wait a minute. Is there something there? Could I create enough things that I know are who I am, that make me believe in who I am, not that give me belief, but just that make me be who I am? Can I do them on this island? I'm all alone. There's no storm brewing, but I'm all alone, and I'm not welcome at that underwater settlement anymore, and, well, I lost everything. You know what? Let's try. I'm gonna gather some rocks and see if I can create like a little strategy game with them. Kind of like the turtle chess game that they had in that underwater settlement, because that was really fun and made me think. So we go and we gather, we can start walking the island. And all of a sudden, when we're walking the island now, so see, our focus is on, we need to find rocks for the strategy game that we want to create. We're creating something, our own experience. And we're looking around and we're like, there actually aren't that many rocks on this island. It's actually, well, this is actually a pretty cool island. There's purple sand. It's actually really cool. I didn't even realize that because it was so dark and stormy the last time. And the trees, the palm trees are really nice. Oh. Wait. There's like some birds and wait, look at these. Wait, there's a rock over there. And there's like this like little crawling creature with antennas. I don't know what they are, but these birds and these crawling creatures are really cool. They're colorful. And there's a white one. Oh. I remember the scientists used to call those albinos, but I think they're just whatever. Maybe they're cool. And you put your finger out and it crawls in your finger and you're like, whoa, hey, little crawly creature. I'm gonna put you back down, but be careful, okay? I don't want to step on you. And then the bird flies by and lands on the ground, and you follow it. It's really colorful. And as you're following it, all of a sudden you see that there's some berries on this like little bush. And he grabs one and eats it. But it also grabs one and like tosses it to the side and lands by her foot and like, are you telling me to eat this? And it like chirps. Chirp. And you're like, whoa, it ate it. So I'm like, I was kind of worried I was going to be hungry, but maybe let's try this. All right. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Thank you, Mr. Bird. Well, let's find a few more rocks. And see if we can also see some of the crawly things. We saw a white one. Maybe we can find different colored ones. But if not, it's cool. Now, when we're exploring the island, we appreciate what's around us. We're like, well, this is a nice island. Maybe I can create a little shelter for myself with like some leaves or something, and maybe the bird and the crawling things will join me, but it's okay, Tito. I don't need that. I was cool enough to see them. So we're like, oh, but wait, we need to find out that branch. The branch that kept us warm. All right. So we go back and we grab it. And when we do, we remember, we're like, my girl, my kid. But the sisters, that sister, the bracelet. Because it turns out that by this branch, when you picked it up, there was one shell that fell. You didn't bring it with you to the settlement. You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that I left a shell and a coral here. Whoa. I'm like, wow, I was excited to collect those things for the girl. She made me smile again. What was the song we were whistling? And you keep going. So you create your little shelter. You have your branch there. You whistled the song that reminded you of the girl. What was the song that they sang? I couldn't figure it out. It was like in almost like another language or something, but it was really cool. Maybe I'll just make my own lyrics. The full life theory is happening. I was onto something back then. I don't have coffee, but maybe I can sing about it. Oh, do you remember when you had that special coffee drink that they had in that underwater settlement? Underwater coffee. You know what? Right then, you're like, whoa, I just mentally teleported myself to thinking I had coffee. I do need some water, though. So you go, and you're walking around, and you end up finding like a spring. Let's call it like a wellspring, and it's just like surrounded by nature, and there's like, they look like butterflies, dragonfly things, but you don't really know what they are. You're like, whoa, when you put your hand out, and they land on it, on your hand, and you're like, whoa. And you see them like literally drinking the water from the river or that little spring. You're like, wait a minute, it must be safe if they can drink it. So you end up drinking some. Cough a little bit. But you're like, it's okay. It tastes a little different than the water that I'm used to, but it was pretty good. You walk back to your little shelter that you created. You see the branch, you see the shell, you see the coral, you start the fire again. But you don't use the branch. You create a new one because the branch is special for you now. And when you do that, you're like, you know what? What was that dance that the underwater settlement people taught me? I wasn't good at it, but I'm going to try it. And all of a sudden, when you're dancing around the little fire that you created, and your mental world is the underwater settlement, right? Like that's like the dream. But you see, you didn't achieve it, right? You're on this island by yourself. But mentally, in your mental world, you have the dream. Think of it like that, guys, okay? Whatever it is. And when that's happening, all of a sudden, you look around and you see that the bird landed on your shelter. And you're like, you're watching. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, look, there's the bird. And then you look at all the rocks that you collected, and you see that all the crawling creatures, there's a white one, there's a brown one, there's one that has wings, there's one that is a little smaller, and like they're hanging out by the rocks. And you're like, do you guys like these rocks? Are they cool for you guys? I was going to use it to create a game. if you guys like these rocks, then I'll give one for you guys. I'm gonna use the rest. Let's try to make a little game here. Well, it's a little puzzle. And, like, you like draw in the sand, like circles and squares, and like so that you can like put the rocks almost as like board pieces, and you just move them around. And you see the one of the butterfly dragonfly things lands on your hand. You're like, oh hey. And the crawling things are just moving from like square to square. You're like, are you guys taking turns playing against me? All right, I'm pretty good at this. You know, as you're like, I'm getting pretty tired now. This is a really good day. Memories of your kid that you lost come pop into your head, and you're like, and the plane crashing, and you're like, but then you see the branch, you see the rocks, you see the bonfire you create, you see the crawling creatures, you see the bird. It's still there with you. You see there's one butterfly dragonfly thing. And you're just like, you just start whistling the song that you whistled with that girl. I don't know if I'll ever have another kid, but if I do, you best bet I'm gonna teach them everything I learned at this island. I'm gonna teach them. Slowly, over time. I'm gonna teach them. But for now, Mr. Bird, Mr. Crawly thing, Mr. Butterfly Dragonfly thing, can I talk to you guys and tell you about what I would teach my future kid? You know, this island's pretty cool. It's not that bad. It's not my old life. It's not the underwater settlement. But it's all right. So that day, starts repeating. And while that day starts repeating, there's moments where all of a sudden this character feels like, well, I should go back to the underwater settlement. I need to try to help the sister in the underwater settlement. I need to get the kid. No. Or I need to make a larger shelter, or I need to create a new game, more with more rocks and more things. I need to sing more songs. I need to dance more. And then you're like, wait. Today I got a lot of reminders about the plane crash and the bad things that happened to my girl, my kid, and my pets. I really don't feel like exploring the island today. You know what? I think I'm just gonna sit here and take it a little easier today. Mr. Bird, you think you could bring me a berry? And the bird flies away. And you're like, whoa, I guess we're starting to learn how to communicate, and they bring me a berry, and like that's pretty awesome. So when we get to that point where we start living a full life, and we start worrying about the balance, I'm like, well, now I need to do everything. Now I need to get it right. I'm like, well, one day I do more of this, I need to do less of that, and then the next day I need to do more of this and less of that. And when we're on this island, we do that for a bit, but then we're like, I don't know, like I didn't feel as good today. I'm like, I know I did get attacked more, like these mental reminders, and there was also a storm that appeared today, so that really, really hurt me. It made me feel more afraid and negative because a storm actually appeared today. And let's be real, the storm was what made the plane crash, and the storm was what made us get separated from the underwater settlement, and what took away the dad from the sister that we liked, that we were excited that she was going to make a bracelet for us. So do you guys see, like, the storm has a lot of negatives? So I'm like, I didn't feel that good today because there was the storm, so that was the reminder, and they just reminded me of my kid and the girl, her dad, and all these things, and then I started worrying about doing all the things that I need to do, that I figured out how to thrive on this island. And then I was like, wait. Who's grading? Who's grading? I'm here all alone. Who's grading? We're stuck here on this island. Who's grading? If I don't succeed in doing one thing today, it's all right. Now, I really should be able to do all of them, not because I need to, but because, well, there's no fear. There's no worry, like, because when I do all of them, I feel better. When I do all of them, I am who I am. So I probably should play that rock game with the crawlers. I probably should hold a festival and sing songs with the bird. You guys get it? We start worrying about getting it right. We start worrying about, well, I need to do this thing, I need to do this thing, I still need to do this thing, I still need to do this thing. I didn't whistle today. Okay, quick whistle. And what I'm trying to get all of you to realize is that once you start doing them and you push away the poison reminders and the corruption, well, what you guys are going to realize is that, well, why wouldn't you do those things? You don't have to do them every day, but what you would, like, they just make you be who you are. Do you guys get it? So then you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to force anything because it's who you are. I call them our shields, our positive, but if we do all of them every single day, we live a full life. Despite our reality and our circumstances, we can be all alone on an island with everything taken from us, everything lost, our prospects and outlook very grim, negative reminders presenting, and yet if we still do the things that make us who we are, our shields, the 15 things or 5 or 10 or 15 things that are who we are, that we will be thriving. Yet at no point are we off the island. At no point is our wife back, our kid, our pets. They lost all of them with the plane. At no point did that hot sister that we wanted to date, his dad get revived and the settlement be cured. We don't even know. We haven't even returned there yet. We might not. You see, like, our reality hasn't outcome-wise changed, because we're still stuck on the island. So how is it that we can be thriving then? Because we thrive on the days we do all of our shields, all of our positives that make us who we are, the full life theory. If we can do them, no matter the days, if there's a storm present or not, it doesn't mean that we can always do all of them every day that we want. Sometimes we might have to deviate because, well, if a storm is currently like rampaging a certain area on the island, like maybe we can't get to the river right now and collect more rocks, or the spring. Well, you know what? Then we maybe can't create and modify our strategy game today. So can we maybe instead like find a way to like gather purple sand and use it for something? Can we? You see, like, we're not stuck to necessarily one thing, but it's more like the concept of the shield as a whole, the positive as a whole. I'm like, oh, for example, did I get to play a video game today and create experiences there and learn things? Yeah. I didn't need to play a specific one. Because if we get tied down to, I need to do a specific one, well then we're at risk. Because you see, then it's an outcome. Did I get to sing today? Well, you didn't get to sing that song, but you did sing. I'm like, oh. Maybe when we were preparing to do another festival with our bird and our crawling things, they reminded us of a song that we used to sing with like our girl and my kid, and it made us sad, so we didn't feel like singing anymore. We're like, wait, you know what? How about I sing the underwater settlement one instead? I'm like, oh yeah, let's do that. Do you guys see, like, if we are stuck and tied to, I need to sing that song, well then we're vulnerable, because then they can just present things and do things to corrupt that. And that's what happens to all of us, is that when we start doing a little better, we start getting reliant on things, and we need those things. What if the bird and the crawling things were essentially like our pets? So what if bad things started happening to them, or they vanished for a day or two and we don't know where they are anymore? Well, then we're not going to be doing that well. Do you guys get it? So then what many of us get baited to do is, well, then now we feel like, well, I now need that. I need to seek it at all costs. I don't know where the bird is. I don't know where the crawling thing is. So I now need to find something else. I need to get another. I need to find a replacement. I'm like, all right. Like maybe you go to the water, like you're like just digging around. Like, where? Come on, there has to be another crawling thing. There has to be another bird. Where? Come on, I need something like that. You guys get it? Like now, the outcome is the only thing that matters. And it's not what matters to live a full life that makes us thrive. We should have something like that, but if we can't, you understand? Like, if we can't, the crawling thing and the birds are all gone, and maybe we're about to give up, and we're like, hey, you know what? I can't. I guess I'm not gonna have one anymore. The world is conspiring against me again, I guess. Another storm will hit. But you know what? What they can't take away? My memory. They can taint it. They can corrupt it. But it turns out they tainted and corrupted our memory of like our old pet, right? When the plane crashed. They've tainted and corrupted the memory of the pet otter from the sister, because it tail whipped me. I'm like, oh my gosh, when I got exiled from that place. But you know what they didn't taint and corrupt? The crawlers, the bird, and the butterfly dragonfly thing. So all of a sudden we're like, oh, let's go search for a butterfly dragonfly thing. I'm like, no. You know what? Today I'm gonna learn something new. I'm gonna try to create something. I'm gonna try to make some music with, I don't know, like, I'm gonna use the branch that I have a positive with, and there's like a little tree stump over here. It kind of looks like one. It's like just like roots and like vines and stuff like that. I'm gonna just whack the branch on the thing, see if I can like make like a little rhythm. But then, you know what? At the same time, I'm going to try to draw the bird, the crawling things, and the butterfly, dragonfly in the sand. Remember, who's grading? So we start. Maybe I even use the branch to draw in there, but I can use my finger, doesn't matter. Or my feet, who cares? And we're doing it. And I'm like, wow, yeah, that doesn't really look like the bird, but I know that it's the bird. The crawler one is pretty good. The butterfly dragonfly thing is amazing, though. That one's good. You see, like, we're grading ourselves. We had fun with it. I'm like, wow, I was like whistling. I was like drumming away with my branch on making music, and I was just drawing the animals that they hadn't tainted. You guys see, like, they haven't tainted them yet because it's something new. We moved forward. We were creating new, and we had no negatives attached to them yet. If they're like, maybe something bad happened to them, right? Because we haven't seen them again. So maybe something bad happened to them. But we're like, no, we're not going to even focus on that. We had really good experiences with these birds and these crawling things and stuff like that on this island. So I'm going to draw them. And just seeing the pictures of them, and you're like, you know what? Let me remember when the day when I first got to the island. Or the second time. And I was about to give up, and I explored for rocks, and I first saw the crawlers, and I saw the bird. It even gave me a berry. And the butterfly dragonfly thing. Landed on my hand and showed me that I can drink water. You know what? I wonder if I can figure out how to like write this out. Could I like sharpen like a branch or something and like almost like make it like a pencil and like carve it in something so that I can. Either way, though, I'll not forget them. You guys see, like, even if they're not there, even if they're taken, even if something maybe happened to them, the positive memory that story, that the visual, our own drawing of it, like we created our own positives. It lets us temporarily have that shield, like the pet shield of, well, the animals. Do you guys get it? Like, so there's other ways to live the full life. In this story on the island, we don't have the girl, but I'm like, can I like imagine a scenario where I do? Can I like remember the pictures, like of like the sister or something, and the underwater settlement, and can I like imagine like telling her these stories and going on a walk with her, maybe showing her this island? Do you guys understand? Like, all of a sudden you do something like that, and then you temporarily, mentally, are teleported to that. So it feels momentarily like you have that shield. It can never replace if it was real, but it can sure make it better. And what I'm trying to get you all to realize is that it means that we don't need the outcome, but we need to create stories and paths and tools that we use, not tied to money or externals, but we can have tools that help us, right? Like I used the branch, I used rocks, I used sand, purple sand, I used, you guys understand? Like, I use the tools around me to give myself all my positives again. And I'm like, you know what? I still have that shell. I still have that shell and that coral. That reminds me of the bracelet that she was gonna make me. And I'm like, you know what? Can I use that? I have that right there next to on my shelter. And that's not tainted. Do you guys understand? Because what ends up happening is that all the things they try to taint. Because you're like, no, you know what? Even though I went back to the settlement and they tried to make me feel horrible because she was so mad at me. I know the same thing happened to her. They destroyed her. They made her plane crash. But I know she lashed out at me not because of that. So this bracelet is a reminder of what was before. But you guys see, like, we couldn't use the shell and the corals immediately as a positive reminder. We couldn't use it immediately because at first it had just gotten tainted, it got corrupted, they attached poison to it by a negative event. Do you guys get it? They created the negative event that when she exiled us and got mad at us. So if we would have brought the shell back or the corals, we would be reminded of that negative event. But since we created distance, we started just living our own full life and thriving through our own thing. Then now when we use it, we're like, yeah. And what you guys are going to realize is that the moment we look at it, we're like, all of a sudden the thought of when the sister yelled at us, it's like, but then you're like, no, this is awesome. Instead now you're like, when she was teaching me the songs and the dance and her pet otter, and pet otter is pretty cool. And do you guys see, like, but you can't use those things immediately because they get first attacked and tainted. So you have to use other things. You have to create new. You have to move forward. Then after enough distance and when you're stronger, you can return and you can heal those reminders and use them again. But what you're going to realize, guys, is that you're like, even though this shell and coral is a really good reminder of the beautiful sister that I was having a great time with in the underwater settlement, you know what? every time I try this, I use this, it's still more positive than negative. I would say it's like a 70-30. But every single time, it still pops up that when she yelled at me and exiled me, blaming me for her dad being lost. So you know what? I'm going to put it next to the little pillow that I created with leaves. So I can see it once in a while, so I'll never forget. I don't think I will, but it's there. But you know what? Every time I dance, I'm going to mentally self-source when she was when we whistled together, when we sang together, and when we danced together around the bonfire. Yeah. So you see, now I'm doing dancing, I'm doing whistling, I'm doing singing, and I'm also attaching my girl positive there at the same time. Do you guys see that? Then that festival part that we do every day of my, then I'm like, oh look, the bird's back and the crawlers and the butterfly, dragonfly. Wow, I was so worried they're gone. And I now I'm like, hey guys, look, I drew you guys. I don't know if they could recognize themselves, but I'm telling you guys, that's you. That's the bird. That's the crawler thing. You guys get it? So now, the festival experience that we're creating on this island is now our girl shield, our girl path, our girl reminder that we use to make us feel better temporarily, to remember that, because it's who we are. But sometimes they prevent and they block the things that we would want to use, right? Like, I want to use the reminder of the bracelet, because that's really was like the culmination. That was what we were building up to. That's what we were going to do. That was going to then take us to the next level. That I was like, hey, well, maybe now, I don't know, if we keep doing this a few more days, maybe she wants to be my girlfriend. You guys get it? They taint those and they corrupt those so that we can't. So we have to find other ways. But if we do so, do you guys see that? That means that if I get all of those check mark, boom, 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 I'm like, I just need something that's a permanent reminder of the coffee drink. What can that be, you know? And let's say it doesn't matter anymore. I'm like, I'm not going to get lost, but you find something, use something. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna like dig a little like sandcastle, almost like hole. Like, think of that, guys, right? And when you do that, you put like some other things around it so that they can't get filled back in. And when you do that, you throw some of the maybe there's one region in the beach or in this island that has purple sand, and you grab the purple sand and you throw it in there, and you're like, this is like, I'm going to call this my special coffee drink from the underwater settlement. And the purple sand's also a reminder of the girl, and it reminds me of that time frame when I saw a possibility again. And yeah, and you guys get it? Like, you literally dug a little hole in sand, put a little blockade around it, and then just poured purple sand in it. And you said, you created, hey, this is my association of a coffee drink from the underwater settlement to remind me of my coffee shield. You guys get it? If we needed the coffee to have a full life and we can never get it because we're stranded and stuck on this island, then we're never going to thrive and be who we can actually be. Because if they just keep that out of reach, then that's that. Do you guys see why the outcome is the problem? If we need the external outcome, then they just have to make sure that the storm arrives. And you best bet, guys, when we do that, the first time we did this, all of a sudden, the next day a storm is brewing again. And they're like, oh, I don't know what's going on, but I don't think they're happy that I figured out how to create a coffee shield reminder and a girl shield reminder from my little festival, just starting a fire for myself and singing in that and attaching her to coffee because I'm attaching her to like a little sand hole that I created with purple sand. I don't think they wanted that to be a girl and coffee reminder. Like, oh, also she used to wear purple and red. So I even just see the purple sand and it reminds me of that. Do you guys get it? But the storm comes and all of a sudden the hole gets destroyed. Like it gets filled back up with sand because of all the wind and all that stuff like that. I'm like, ah! But you know what? I did it once. And actually, now the crawlers and the birds and the butterfly dragonfly thing, like they hid with me in my shelter from the storm. We worked together. And the next day I tell them, hey guys, I think this might happen quite often, but I'm going to create another sand hole and find more purple sand. You guys want to go on an adventure with me? And they do. I have the bird on my shoulder. I have the butterfly, dragonfly thing on my hand. And the crawlers I literally am holding one rock on my left hand. And they're just on there. And now it's my little crew, my army of freedom on this island. So we don't even remember the time anymore. We don't even care about a result. We could have been on this island for months. We have no idea. We have adventures and experiences with these animals. And sometimes we see like different sea animals in the distance. And turns out there's actually different types of berries that grow on this island. And do you guys get it? Like, we're always trying new things. We're learning new things. We're creating our own experiences. We're trying to create different games. We now do little slight variations on the things, but we have figured it out. We know how to live our full life every single day on this island, despite our reality not changing. So one day, all of a sudden, we see what we think looks like someone that we recognize from the underwater settlement just swimming on the surface. Like, whoa, is that them? I'm like, hey! And they see us and like, oh, we were searching. We didn't know if we could find you or anyone. We were hoping we could find something, but things are bad at our settlement. It's just everyone's struggling. People don't believe. People think that they can't start living again until our realities change. Could you come back and and see if like you can maybe help people. You're like, you see, like, so now we get teleported back to the past, and you're like, you kind of, you forgot about the exile, you forgot about all those bad. So like this event happens and it brings that back, because right now you only had positives with like the girl. You only had positives. You didn't even think about anymore about the dad loss. And once in a while, I got reminded, but you just immediately go, do you guys get it? Like now it brought back the recency. And you're like, yeah, I don't know. And then, like, let's say like it's just a fisherman from that village, the settlement. He's like, yeah, I know you got exiled. You're like, what? And like the bird and the is like chirping really loudly, like like almost giving us a warning, like stay away. But you know what? We're like, hey, I don't know what's going on there anymore. It's not my problem. It's not my story anymore. It's not, I'm past that. I've moved forward. But you guys see, like, I'm still using that girl as a positive and things of that nature. I'm still using that time period as a positive, but it's selective targeting. But you're like, you know what? Fine. You say they need help. I'll go back there. But I'm going to be back for you birds, crawlers, and butterfly, dragonfly thing. I'm going to be back. Don't you guys worry. I promise you. Be safe. I'm going to be back. So now you go to the settlement and you arrive. And you see the girl in the distance. And someone else comes up to you and says, could you please help us organize a festival? We feel like we need some kind of outsider to break the hold that this place has. It's chained, it's shackled. And who knows, maybe the girl will talk to you again. If you can save our village. You pause. You see the girl in the distance. The desire, the storyline, it all comes back. She looks at you. She smiles actually for a second. You're like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Nope. Guys, you don't even say hello to her. You stand on a rock that you see in the middle of the settlement. And you're like, excuse me. So you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Like, when we do that, we interrupt everyone. We like snap them out of the mental world that they're trapped in, because that's what ends up happening to us when the storm hits and makes the plane crash. We get trapped in a mental world and we can't escape the hold. So then they're like, wait, what? There's a foreigner here? We haven't had anyone visit. Oh, it's the same foreigner that showed up 7 months ago. It's been 7 months. And they're like, whoa, no one else has shown up in that time frame, and you're back. Like, whoa. And hey, I didn't realize it was 7 months. They're like, how could you not know? Like, I just was living. I didn't care about time anymore. I stopped worrying about outcomes. I stopped worrying about the past. I moved forward. I learned new. I experienced so much, guys. They're like, really? I'm like, there was a part of me in this moment that contemplated if I should help you guys host a festival. Because, do you guys remember that? when I arrived here 7 months ago, and that girl over there, there's two girls, but that girl specifically, she showed me the culture. She taught me about your guys' ways. I got to meet the pet otter. Hey, otter. I got to play your guys' turtle chess game. I got to sing your guys' songs. How did it go? Yeah. Oh, and you point at someone, you're like, how did that go? Like, oh yeah, what was the song that we used to sing? And do you guys remember that dance? You do a little bit of that dance that they did. And then you whistle, and all of a sudden you hear the girl start whistling a little bit. She joins in. You haven't said anything to her yet. Do you guys still make that seaweed thing? No? Because I know I'm not welcome here, guys. I know I'm not welcome here. But maybe I could have one seaweed thing before I go for my journey back. I have some people waiting for me, some animals, and I think they would enjoy trying your guys' food. It's really good. And I don't need to drink it, but could I just smell your coffee water drink, guys, that you guys make here? Just to get a little reminder of that. It's so good. I don't know why any of you guys, why no one has told you guys recently. You guys need more visitors and foreigners here. Everyone will appreciate your guys' culture so much. You guys have such an amazing culture. Your dances, your food, your coffee drinks, the way you guys whistle. Even the stories you guys tell. You guys don't talk about that enough. But your turtle chess game, do you guys know that I created my own version of that? Because it's the coolest thing ever. And thanks for, you know what, guys? I was lost. I was lost because, well, I lost everything when I first got here. I didn't tell you guys that. But I did. And when I got to experience your guys' reality, I believed again for the first time and forever. And when that happened, I felt like I finally could be myself again. I live a full life. You guys gave that to me in just a short amount of time that I got to experience your guys' world. If I ever get to escape that island, but you know what? I don't know if I even want to anymore, guys. Because I built a life for myself there. But if I ever do leave that island, I'm going to tell everyone about your guys' underwater settlement. Because the world deserves to know how incredible you guys are. About how unique your culture is. About how special you guys are. And you guys gave that to me. You guys helped me remember. And the island that I'm stuck on, now by choice, what kept me going? This is kind of weird to say, but it was you, girl. And you guys as people, and your food, and your drinks, and your culture. Every time a storm came and I wasn't sure if I was going to make it, all of you guys, this underwater settlement is what kept me going. So, my hope and wish for each and every one of you is that you guys remember that you all are the reason that I kept going. I know I'm not welcome here. I know you guys exiled me. I know bad things happened. But I'm telling you guys, it wasn't any of your guys' fault. I encourage all of you, if you want, to come join me on this island. I want to introduce you guys to a bird, to my rock crawlers, and my butterfly dragonfly thing. I want to teach you guys my my sand rock game that I created. I want to show you guys my my festival version of your guys' festival, where I sing and dance. I don't know if I'm good as you guys yet, but I got much better. Maybe you guys can join in. And I whistle that song you played, the girl, that we whistled together every day. And Mr. Otter, I forgive you. But there's this island pretty near to this location. It's above the water. It means you guys are going to have to leave your bubble. It's a little scary at first because there's storms. But I'm telling you guys, there's some really good berries on that island. And there's a different type of water that I've never had before. But there's purple sand. And hey, well, I have nothing to lose. Reminds me of you and your purple outfit that you wore that one day when you said you were going to make me a bracelet. I'm sorry. Sorry, I couldn't do more. All right. So I'm going to head back to my island. If you guys have some of that seaweed, and can I smell some of that coffee? That would be great. But it's okay if you guys don't. I don't need anything from any of you guys. I'm good. All of a sudden it's quiet. And you start walking away, and all of a sudden the otter runs in front of you and like blocks your path. And like you're like, oh, you can tail whip me again? Like it like starts like nudging our leg to like turn. You want to turn around, and you turn around, and you see for the first time ever, some of the villagers are cooking again. The person who found us on the island says, yeah, those villagers haven't cooked the seaweed meal in 7 months. Oh, look over there. They're like, well, what's that smell? Oh, that's the coffee. They're like, wow, we haven't had that coffee drink in 5 months. They stopped making it. Thanks, guys. the villager comes and hands us some of the seaweed thing. And they say, no, thank you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't do it for anything. They're like, it's okay. Thank you. Take this. And they bring us a little bit of a mug with the coffee, like their version of the coffee, and they're like, here. And you're like, you grab it, and you smell it, and you're like, ah, that's really good. Wow. And then you hand it back to them. And they're confused. They're like, no, it's for you. I'm like, okay, you want to smell it again? All right, thank you. 2, oh, I got smelled twice. Here you go. They're like, no, take the mug. Take the drink. You're like, no. I created my own mug. By digging a hole in sand. It reminds me of your guys' settlement. Keep the mug. Put it somewhere that you can see it every day. That reminds you that you made it again. You made your coffee drink again. You cooked your seaweed again. Put that reminder somewhere for yourself. Thanks, guys. You're more than welcome to follow me to the island. But I'm good. They're all confused. They don't understand. They're like, why don't you need anything external? Because I needed to survive without it. I didn't have anything else. But that's not what today's about. You're about to leave and the otter stops you again, like, what now, otter? And all of a sudden you hear the whistle. Whatever the song is, right? And you're like, you turn around and you see the girl. She's like, hey, I'm sorry. That's all you say to her. She's like, I just didn't know what to do. She's like, it's all right. I just want you to know that I create a lot of reminders for myself to keep marching forward because of you. And I was really looking forward to that bracelet. But I don't, she's like, I'm like, no, I didn't tell you that because I want you to feel bad. But because I wanted you to know that you helped me. I hope one day you can get all your people to come to the island. She's like, you're not gonna stay? You could stay. You really changed the village again. The settlement, I've never seen them do things like this again. We're gonna do a festival tonight, I think. We're gonna try at least. I don't know if it's gonna go well, but you could help us. No. That's not my place. And mentally all of a sudden you get a thought, you're like, wait, The girl is finally saying, hey, stay with me, come here, do this, do the festival. Like, isn't that what I was striving for? Isn't that what I was like aiming for? That outcome. It's happening. What? No, join me on my island. Join me on my island. This villager fisherman found the island, which brought me back here, so they know how to get there. Ask them to guide all of you there. I have some animals waiting for me. It's nice seeing all of you again. You forgot your seaweed. You know what? Just seeing it again for even 1 second was more than enough. And you leave. You get back to your island. You're like, all my reminders. Oh look, there's still the hole, the purple sand. The bird flies up to you like, oh, you're back. The crawlers are like, oh wow, sorry guys, I got held up. I got to help them a little bit. They ended up cooking again and singing, or they didn't sing yet and dance, but they were they made that coffee drink and stuff like that. But I told them all about you guys. The dragonfly thing lands on our hand again. It's like, and you too. What happens at this point? Well, what happens next doesn't matter anymore, guys. They're like, oh, well, how's the story end? Does the girl and all the villagers from the settlement come to the island and do they host a festival and it's a happily ever after? Maybe. Do they then decide to, now that they broke their bubble once and they saw what the world can be, do they keep exploring now and they leave the island together and like travel the world and have kids and have an organization and stuff like that? Maybe. Or maybe nothing happens. And we stay on the island and nothing changes. Maybe the villagers never actually leave their bubble, their underwater settlement. Maybe they go back to not doing again. Or maybe they start doing again. They remembered who they were and they start doing the things that make them who they are. And they live their full life. Do you guys see, like, the ending doesn't matter. The outcome doesn't matter. Could be any of those. Hopefully, it's going to be the positive ending. But do you guys get it? Why it doesn't matter is because even if nothing happens, now all the parties involved, all the people, but more so ourselves that was on that island, we're all now living a full life. We're all thriving. Despite our reality not changing. Do you guys get it? When we can actually start living our life like that, doing all the things that make us thrive, that make us who we are, regardless of what's presented, regardless of what's reminded, with regardless whether that's poison or corrupted, regardless that if, when we actually then learn and overcome, and then the storyline outcome presents itself, we don't get baited to have to do it. If it happens, cool. But do you guys get it? We didn't go back to that settlement because we thought we could get the girl. We wanted to just help them, but we didn't need anything in return. Because too many of us at that point then think, oh, now finally my life will begin. Now finally I will start thriving. I'm not saying that you can't do more, right? Well, we have all the villagers and that girl, and the otter can now befriend also like the butterfly, dragonfly, and the bird, and the crawler. You guys get it? Like, there's more that can happen. That's not wrong. That's not wrong. But if your life only begins when you have all of those things, well then you're never going to thrive, because you're not living your full life until you have it. I'm saying you have to live it before, so then when you get it, it's just a reinforcement. It's just an extra force field. It's just an extra layer. It's just an extra shield. But you were living your full life without it, and without any external, without any money, without any outcome. Once you get to that, then you guys win, because then there's nothing they can do anymore. Because there's going to be days where they remind you. There's going to be days where the storm happens. There's going to be days where they teleport you to the past, and it's not easy. But you find ways to hang in there, and you don't worry about getting it right. I'm like, well, I have to do all these things. No. But you know, hey, these are the 10, 15 things that make me who I am. I forgot them. I stopped doing them for valid reasons, like they created bad events and bad reminders. And that's why I gave up. But I create first new ones. I walk forward so that I can be myself again. Then I can go back and heal some of my old ones that have a lot of positives, to use a positive reminder. If it's something that was previously tainted or got attacked, it might not be worth it. Can I create a deviation or variation there? Or do I have to remember what the actual purpose for each thing is, right? Learn new, make sure it has some complexity, some difficulty. But then, do you see, then we're not stuck to the bracelets and the coral and the shells. We created new. We don't even need the mug. We create new. And what you guys are going to realize is that when that happens, that ending where I told you guys that you reject the coffee, you reject the seaweed, you reject the girl almost. You don't like say no, but it's just like, you're like, I'm good. It's actually reality. You want to know why, guys? It's because you now created a world for yourself that you need to, that for you to thrive, to live your full life, that you needed the bare necessities. So it means that now when all this external extra stuff presents, even if they are the thing that is so positive and so good, you're like, I just don't need that, because you learned how to play the game under geared with nothing, with no tools. So then all of a sudden they present a tool to you and you're like, whoa, I mean, yeah, but I don't need it. Do you guys get it? So then it's just a bonus. You'll never become reliant on it. You'll never get baited to excess again. And you'll never do only for some kind of outcome or thing, and you'll never consider that that's when you can start living. I'm telling you guys, it never makes the plane crashing better. It never makes the destruction better. But for the first time ever, you can thrive, regardless of what your reality is, because you now all understand the full life theory. You guys get it? Do you see how once you understand it, it's not a theory anymore? But the most difficult part is when you experience the bad, to be able to start doing again and start experiencing and start creating your own positives so that you can just do. I'm going to stop here, but I just want people to understand that doing on the days, if they don't expect you to do anymore because you've given up, which is the correct play, by the way. We have to give up by choice, not because they forced us. I talked about this in my last stream yesterday. Check it out. Star Diplomat on YouTube or on LinkedIn. Fabian Chigoya. Shepherd Star. I called it impossibility events and return journeys. So when you give up by choice, you prevent something from destroying you. When we do that, then we can actually explore again. Because now we don't need the outcome anymore. Now we don't need something to change. Now we don't need something to get better. We're not doing because we expect something to change. And that's the key. So it doesn't matter that, because they destroy us through that impossibility event, right? Like the girl losing her dad when he accompanied me to gather the shells and the corals, or our plane crashing that made us lose our girl, our kid, our pet, and stuff like that. Do you guys understand? Like, those events are real. We all have them. That's how they stop us. And then everyone forgets who they are and what they do, and then they start getting presented other things, and those things now become top of mind, and it's all they care about now. It's all they think about, or it's all that gets reminded of them. And if they ever try to do their goods, their positives, they only get reminded of the bad. You can't let them make you give up. Even if you lost everything, you still need to find a way to do the things that make you who you are. It's not easy. But when we try on the days after, if we've given up for months and all of a sudden, randomly one day we decide to do, you guys are going to realize is that nothing was prepared. So that means that you can actually just do. Once you understand how it happened, the timing of it and how it was set up, then I talk about it in another one, so that you guys should check it out. It helps you understand it. Then you can just do again. Then you can try. Then you can create your own reality on the island with the bird, the crawlers, and the butterfly dragonfly. Remember our branch? Who knows? Maybe a few days from now, all of a sudden, we're playing our sand rock chess game with our animals, and we see the girl emerge from the water with all the villagers, and she says, "Hey, think you could show us your island? Can we host a festival here?" But even if that doesn't happen, we need to be okay. That's called living a full life. All right. It was really good. Do you guys see how creating something new and learning something protects us? It adds complexity. But my hope for all of you is, remember the speech that I made when I arrived at your settlement. I'm like, you guys forgot. You guys forgot. Remember your shields, your positives. Don't worry about getting it perfect, the balance. Don't worry about, do I need to do this or do I need to do that? Just find a way to do the things again. No one's grading except you. It doesn't matter if I only whistled for 2 seconds. I'm like, you whistled for 2 seconds. You don't need to force it. But you guys, when you start remembering, all of a sudden you're like, yeah, this is who I am. And when that happens, I'm telling you guys are going to realize, like, wait, I can live a full life without any outcome. Are you guys ready to explore the island with me? I'll see you guys another time.